morning, everyone. Today is June 30th, which means it's officially my last day of my first year of residency. And I end my first year of residency with a 24-hour shift, which is quite a way to end residency because the 24-hour shifts are definitely the highlight in every single way of my first year of residency. It's the most brutal part that I had to go through this past year, but it's also during those shifts where I'm working by myself that I think I gained the most confidence and I learned the most as a resident. So I'm really excited to take you along and show you what the 24-hour shift really looks like. Hopefully it's not too busy so I have some time to film. Today I start at 8:30 on the inpatient unit. I'm doing hospital medicine from about 8:30 in the morning to 5 p.m. And after that my call starts at 5 and it ends the next day at 8 a.m. Usually by the time I finish reviewing patient and get my stuff ready, it's about 9 or 9:30 that I get home and get to go to sleep. On my way to the hospital now. It's quite a nice, refreshing walk, and I will catch you later. Okay, let me explain a bit what I'm doing during a day of hospital medicine. We start the day by seeing the patients who are expected to have their discharge. We make sure that they're still doing well and we complete the paperwork for their discharge. Once that's done, we move on to seeing the new patients who were admitted overnight. That includes doing a thorough intake history and physical exam around the chief complaints, as well as investigating for other causes that may explain the patient's presenting symptoms. We might also consider ordering additional blood tests, imaging, and giving them medications necessary to help us with diagnosis and help the patients to heal. If required, I would also contact the consultants to be involved in their management. As a resident on the team, I usually see the new admissions as they're more active and are better learning cases, while the staff sees the more chronic and inactive cases. Once I'm done with the new admissions, I then go see the rest of the patients admitted under our team. I check on the daily laboratory values and the results to see if there is anything new. I also chat with the nursing team to get a report of how they were doing overnight. And I touch base with the consultants to see how things are moving along for the patients. So that's a lot of stuff to do, and during the day there is a lot of moving around, talking to patients, talking to family members, and team discussions. But here, for privacy reasons, you will see me mostly in the staff room doing charting. When things get hectic, it's really easy to forget to take a break, to go to the bathroom, and to eat. So it's really important to always take the time to have lunch. So it's lunchtime for me now. It may not sound like a lot of work, but when we have 15 or sometimes even 20 patients on our team, it does take pretty much the whole day to do all the rounding. Not to mention that some mornings there are team rounds, and some afternoons can be filled with family meetings. In the afternoon, I tidy up the rounds by contacting family members, giving them updates and answering their questions. Because of COVID, the visiting hours are restricted, so it's even more crucial to keep the family members in the loop. Also in the afternoon, for some of the more acute and unstable patients, we might order some additional labs, imaging, or change the management plan depending on how things evolved during the day. Since I'm at the end of my first year of residency and the staff that I'm working with is getting to know my skills and abilities, I don't have to review every single item with them. I usually give them updates throughout the day on the important matters. Having this independence is quite a rewarding feeling. As my day job finishes, my night shift starts. Do you have a pen? 5:47. Okay, perfect.
Have a good shift.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, bye. It's 5:40 p.m. I just finished up rounding all my inpatients upstairs, finishing up the notes. Normally my call starts at 5, but we haven't gotten any admission, so I can take some time to relax, put my stuff away, have some supper, and then I'll be ready for the first admission as soon as it comes in. Alright, so what am I doing exactly when I'm on call overnight? I'm working in the emergency room, but rather than doing an emergency shift, I'm doing what's called family medicine admissions. So, when patients come to the emergency room, they're assessed by emergency physicians, who then, based on their assessment, decide whether or not the patient can go home or needs to stay in the hospital for further management. Oh, and by the way, I'm walking to my on-call room, so let me show you that first before I continue to explain my evening. So here we have a little bed, a TV which I never use, and over here we have a small table, a computer which I never use, and a phone. So if ever I get paged in the middle of the night, I'll use this phone to see what's up. And then here we have a little storage room, and then here is a bathroom with a shower, which also I never use the shower. Okay, so back to what I'm doing tonight. If the patients are deemed unsafe to go home by the emergency doctors and required to stay in the hospital, the medical jargon for that is they need to be admitted. Depending on what the patient is presenting with, they will be admitted under different specialties. However, I work in a smaller hospital where not all specialties are on call overnight, so family medicine get most of the admissions from the emergency room. Unless it's an emergency surgery, ICU, gynecology, or psychiatry related, they all go to family medicine. The cases we see can actually be quite interesting and complex. Anything from COPD exacerbations, CHF exacerbations, to stroke, TIA, NSTEMI, sepsis, substance withdrawal, and delirium, failure to thrive, etc. It's really interesting for sure, but it can also get pretty busy overnight. I look really tired. It's only 6:30, which means I've been at work for a little over 10 hours now. I feel okay. I feel not overly exhausted, and this is my last 24-hour shift this year, so by this point I'm getting pretty used to it. I usually get super drowsy around midnight, and then I get another wave of drowsiness around 3-4 a.m. So because I don't have anything, I'm going to relax in bed, try to get some sleep before I get called. Something I've learned from doing 24-hour shifts for a year is how important it is to take just a few minutes and do simple things such as brushing your teeth, washing your face, and taking a break whenever possible. It really makes a world of difference when you're feeling dead and exhausted. And I guess really it's because it makes me feel less of a slave when I can at least sneak in my on-call room at 2 a.m. to take a break. Okay, it's 7:20. I just got called for the first admission. It's an 82-year-old lady who had a fall, and now she's not safe to return home, and she's found to be a little confused. So let's go see the patient. The consults we get from the emergency between 5 p.m. and midnight are split between the resident, the staff hospitalist, and the medical students. At midnight, the medical students and the staff leave. Wait, what? The staff physician leaves at midnight? So there are only residents working overnight in the emergency? Yep, That's right. Only resident doctors in the family medicine admission team stay in the emergency to do overnight consults. And most of the time, we are the only resident on the team. If we're lucky, there might be 2 of us. Well, I mean, we're not the only one in the hospital. There are emergency physicians and physicians from other specialties who are on call in the hospital. So if ever our patient becomes unstable or if we have questions, there is always someone there to help us. Most of the time, we ask questions to the emergency doctor or the ICU staff. And technically, if worse come to worse, we can always call the family medicine staff who's on call from home. But traditionally, we just don't do that. I've actually never heard of a resident who called the family medicine staff who's home overnight. I look pretty dead. It's midnight right now and I'm back in my on-call room. We finished up the cases for the evening and there's nothing for now. This is honestly pretty rare. Like in the last 2 months, I don't think I had a day where I could stop and rest. But you gotta take advantage of it. So I'm gonna try to take a power nap before they call me. Got my pager here. It's a pretty unpleasant noise when it goes off. Peace. Then I got really exhausted, so that's where I stopped filming. But basically, after 3 a.m., I got another hour or 2 hours of sleep. And at about 7 a.m., I reviewed the cases with the staff and I make subsequent adjustment to the plans that I've made overnight. And then I can finally call it a day and go home. Officially finished my 24-hour shift. I'm filming. Woo, good morning.
Good morning.
There you go, guys. This is how I survived every single one of my 24-hour shifts. And now I'm gonna spend the rest of the day sleeping. Thank you so much for watching and making it this far.